Good morning, everybody. So, welcome back, friends and family of the internet. All right, guys, the title of this video, The Poison Sky Above You. Let's get into this, folks. There's so much going on, okay? So, I am starting to kind of have the belief that possibly some of these behaviors that we're seeing with people becoming so extremely violent may have something to do with the toxins being dumped on top of us. I'm getting reports that it is not just my German Shepherd whose health went spiraling out of control, but there are thousands of pet owners just within the United States that are crying out for help. Something's wrong with their beloved pets. Veterinarians can't give them answers. We're seeing young men between the ages of 30 and 60, that is young, folks, coming down with brain aneurysms, aortic aneurysms, with strokes, heart attacks. And these are relatively healthy men. So, good morning, everybody. Welcome back to Starkey Farmstead. My name is Samantha, and I really do want to have this educated adult conversation with you. It's important that our freedom of speech not be encroached on. And some of you may have heard this, and I really do hope YouTube does not take this video down because they've already demonetized me for speaking truth. That, that thing that Fauci pushed on everybody and was mass put out, people lost their jobs over, that thing, that there was a young man who found that there may be a snake venom inside of the original disease. And that snake venom would be cobra. Now, just keep that in mind. I'm sorry I'm being a bit cryptic, but if you want to see me be completely candid, join our newsletter and come with me on the Zooms. Otherwise, I do have to attempt to follow YouTube's guidelines. So at least one day they'll remonetize me. But I want to show you a video that I stumbled across, and it is mind-blowing. That is, it doesn't say what type of snake, but it is snake venom. I'm assuming that is cobra, or not cobra, rattlesnake. All right, let's watch it one more time and carefully watch what he does. He milks it. Milk the snake, get the venom out of its. Pull it up in the syringe, tap, 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 drop it into a cup full of human blood, and look what happened to the blood. Now, when Stephen and I saw that while we were sitting in New Orleans waiting for his neurosurgery appointment, if you guys could have seen our faces, it was like a moment of truth. We both went, because we'd already seen this documentary on this young man, this young scientist, who had found that in this disease. Remember how many people had issues like blood clots and stuff like that, that these mortuaries were finding during autopsies. Now, whether it came from the actual disease itself, we can't really discuss here, so we will kind of go over that on our next Zoom. But I wanted to bring that up to you guys. When I saw that short of them milking the snake and then dropping the venom into the blood, swirling the blood around and pouring out an entire clot, it was like, I said, oh, Lord have mercy. But I had the privilege this morning of doing a video with Dave Hodges from the Common Sense Show to kind of talk about the book, Growing Underneath a Poison Sky. Now, some of you have ordered it, some of you have read it, but I want to read something to you. It talks here, it says, currently there are two types of weather geoengineering that have been revealed, developed, and implemented: cloud seeding and solar geoengineering. There is a third type, but it has not been fully disclosed to the public as it is still considered research and under DARPA, Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency umbrella. For the sake of clarification, we will label it weaponized geoengineering. Let's take a brief look at each method and the types of chemicals, metals, and technology used. Why am I reading this to you? Because I'm fixing to show you something. The goals of cloud seeding are to prevent rain from falling or provide a potential solution to droughts, to serve as a tool for firefighting, and to modify weather, to either produce rainfall or withhold it. Like most technology, it can be used for good causes, such as bringing rain to drought-prone areas, or it can be used as a weapon by causing excessive rains that create floods. It can also cause droughts by withholding the rains in a targeted zone. It can also, the downside, regardless of the acknowledged health impacts of dispersing salt particles as sodium chloride, calcium chloride, silver iodide, potassium iodide, sulfur dioxide, frozen carbon dioxide, propane, and others, right? So solar geoengineering is being done in response to the alleged climate crisis. Nanoparticles of aluminum, barium, and strontium polymer fibers are sprayed into the upper atmosphere, where they spread out and form a milky white geoengineered cloud layer designed to protect the Earth from the overheating rays of the sun. Now, just in case you are curious, this is the book that Leslie and I wrote, Growing Under a Poison Sky. You can get it on eBay. You can get, I don't care where you live in the world, you can get this book. Walmart, Amazon, it's even available on Kindle. The reason I'm discussing this with you is I'm fixing to show you a quick video that was filmed 40 years ago. And it's like I told Dave Hodges this morning when I was doing his podcast with him. We are being cooked. They have created a metallic it surrounds the entire Earth. They have sprayed to the extent for so long that there is a metal basic like shield around the Earth in the stratospheric atmosphere. Now understand, what goes up must come down. So eventually what's been sprayed does fall to the Earth, to the soil, to the water, and on us, right? And into us. So if you've got all these metal particles in the sky and you begin to send microwave at it, right? Think about a microwave oven. What can you not put in a microwave oven? Metal. Is it starting to click? I do very much hope so, guys. Oh, no. Serenity said, I saw 3 different dogs while driving through Brooklyn, New York this past Saturday. All of them were struggling to walk. Something is happening. Our sun is different. And I really, truly believe because of this atmospheric shield around the Earth, this man-made metal shield, we are reflecting the sun back at itself, but we're also trapping the Earth's heat. And it is baking us like a flippin' baked potato in the oven. When you start to understand what they've done and what they're doing, it's mind-boggling. So let you watch this very short video and let me see if you see what I saw.
Now, mind you, this was aired over 40 years ago. Let me know your thoughts in the comments, all right?
Concern about rising temperatures on planet Earth heated up a hearing here in Washington today. For years, scientists have theorized about the dangers of the so-called greenhouse effect, the warming of the Earth's atmosphere due to the burning of coal and oil. And in recent months, as David Culhane reports, research has uncovered facts to support that theory.
Many scientists claim that the temperature of the Earth's atmosphere has been rising over the past 100 years, that the great sheets of pack ice in Antarctica are melting at a much more rapid rate than previously. And Finally, that the sea level has been rising with increasing swiftness over the past 40 years. If these scientists are correct, about 25% of Florida would be flooded, along with low-lying areas all over the world. Climate changes could produce widespread disruption of agriculture. The American farm belt might be too dry, and the wheat and corn crops would have to move to Canada. Scientists blame the odorless, colorless carbon dioxide gas for these potentially dangerous changes around the planet. It is the greenhouse effect. The gas allows sunlight to filter down and warm the earth. But like the glass of a greenhouse, the carbon dioxide tends to trap heat so that it cannot rise into space. The scientists maintain that the coal, oil, and gas we've been burning for 100 years have produced more and more carbon dioxide and helped overheat the earth. Now, some political leaders endorse the demands for more CO2 monitoring stations, like this one in Hawaii. And they share the anger of the scientists at Reagan administration budget cuts at a time when they feel closer to getting definitive answers.
We are not doing the kind of research that we should be doing to determine whether or not these scientists who are so alarmed are correct in their assessment.
And what they find out will affect the lives and fortunes of millions of people, the very survival of cities like this one. David Culhane, CBS News, New York.
Now I want you all to
Did y'all notice Al Gore in that little clip? Can I just use this word flippantly and all my Christian brethren not be mad at me? Al Gore is the climate whore. I'm sorry. I said it. I called him that. It was bought and paid for by the climate extremist. That was 40 flipping years ago, you guys. They recorded that 40 years ago, claiming that it was hotter than it's ever been 100 years. And that Florida, most of Florida was going to be gone because of Florida, hello, Tampa, Miami, you guys still with us? You Everglade people, y'all still there? Lord, they've been saying New Orleans was going underwater for 200 years. Still there. I was there yesterday. So if the climate scientist from 40 years ago, still, thank you, Miss Caroline. She said, we're still here. Florida's still here. In fact, let's go one step further. Now, a lot of people want to argue with me about this, and maybe you've got a point. The Plymouth Rock that the original settlers stepped on did get moved a little bit, but you can visibly still see part of it in the water. And it's got a plaque that says Plymouth Rock. It's in the same spot it was in the 1600s when they got here. It's 400 plus years in the same spot. And you can still see it. I'm just saying. It hadn't changed that much. And why are the uber rich, the elitists, still building houses on the very edge of oceans and rivers and everything if sea rise is that high and coming up that quickly? So what I'm trying to tell you is that these people have been screaming the same nonsense for 40 plus years, yet nothing has really changed, folks, except that now they have convinced governments to give them billions of dollars to create what they claimed was going to happen, a self-fulfilling prophecy. So now they have sprayed for the past 30 years so many tons of metals into the sky to reflect the sunlight back at itself. Let me explain something to y'all. You know why God created the sun? Because we need it. Your plants need it. We are getting the heat from the sun without the benefits from the sun. You need sunlight. When you're sick, I'll give you guys just a quick story. The Spanish flu. After, I don't know if it was World War I or World War II. I think World War I, 1918. Yeah, Spanish flu. Killing people left and right. They ran out of spaces in the hospitals. So they had people on beds outside in the direct sun. Guess what they noticed? The people in the sunlight healed faster than those inside the hospital. Sun is good for you. You need it. In fact, being in the sun helps you convert vitamin D to get thicker, healthier bones. Okay? So what happens if we remove the benefits of the sun from you, but we give you the heat from the sun, trapped from an atmospheric level of metal against the earth? What then happens? Exactly, St. Matthew. Also, radar was first invented and used just like 5G. I'm just saying, I'm just throwing these concepts out there because I really do want you guys to understand that what is happening to the earth right now is not necessarily okay to blame it just on people burning fossil fuels. Go back to what just happened in Texas with the floods. We know without a doubt, Rainmaker, the corporation, was cloud seeding, making it rain on purpose in Texas the day before the flood started. How many days prior to the flood were they cloud seeding? And though I could not go to court and prove without a shadow of a doubt that the CEO of Rainmaker is responsible for the deaths of the people in Texas, I could go to court and prove that there is a shadow of a doubt that he is responsible. There is evidence pointing that the company Rainmaker has some liability to the amount of water that fell in that area. And I think you're going to see more and more people wake up. I honest to God do. I want to read one more little bit out of this book for you guys. In case you haven't gotten it, you're waiting on it. Let me give you a teaser. These technologies, direct energy weapons, HARP, DARPA, that's what we're talking about. We even discuss in the book patents that people have taken out, corporations have taken out. These technologies have raised deeply concerning questions, not just about the poisons in the skies, but about what it is they are trying to accomplish. With the unprecedented numbers of wildfires, droughts, and catastrophic storms, one wonders what else these technologies are capable of and which nations have these weather weapons as part of their arsenals. This is an extremely complex and controversial topic, as it is funded by DARPA and thus still shrouded in secrecy and denial, just as other technologies once were. However, there is evidence of it being used. This topic is worthy of a book in itself and beyond the scope and intent of our book. We highly encourage you to do your own research, and then we point you to people who have more of the information. This book's broken up into two sections. We talk about the problems, and then we talk about the solutions. What can you do? Because yes, there are things that you can do. Edna, it just depends on the price of the book. Where you buy it, you can get it on Kindle for $9.99. It's an easy read, and there is a reason behind it. All of us are busy. And I believe that's on purpose too. I don't know how many of you feel this way, but it feels like more and more people are having to work multiple jobs to make things happen for their families. People are having to go to school and work 2 jobs. People are having to work 2 jobs and take care of their children. Spouses, one's working days while the other's working nights so that they don't have to pay for daycare. I believe all of that is intentional. It's on purpose. Because how do you get people to stand up and push back when they're exhausted? when they're financially exhausted, when they're emotionally exhausted, when they're physically, their bodies are failing. The food that you and I eat is not nutritionally dense anymore. All of you have heard this. Food is medicine. And yet the food that we're eating is not. It's toxic. How many of you know what a CAFO system is? A consolidated animal feed operation. Just raise your hand or put a thumbs up in the comment section, please. And by the way, if you're new to my channel or you watch me often, please make sure you are subscribed, hit the like button, drop over in comments, tell me who you are and where you're from. A CAFO system is America's, it was our way to problem solve people wanting to live in the city and still have affordable meat. CAFO systems are part of the Antichrist system. You heard me. I did say that. Because you have too many animals in too little bit of an area, and they're sick and they're suffering. And when something is sick and suffering, it puts off toxins inside of its body. It's called cortisol. There are others, but cortisol is the number one. So you have animals with high levels of cortisol in their meat. Then those animals are slaughtered, butchered, and put on your table. If the animal's meat is full of cortisol, what are you going to be full of when you eat the meat? Cortisol. How many of you are having joint issues? Swelling. Went to the doctor lately and your cholesterol level's through the roof. How many of you? It's coming from the meat. It's coming from the meat. When you think of a farm, you think of cows in a field and chickens running around. All of us do. But that is not what farms look like and have not looked like for 60 plus years. Animals are in a consolidated feedlot, and all you see is rows and rows of GMO corn, wheat, barley, soy. Those are not farms. Those are corporations. I have said this, and I say this repeatedly. The future of good, clean, organic food are small homesteads and farmsteads. Those people have the best quality of food. Why? Because the animals are properly cared for. The animals are free-ranged. They are not necessarily grain-fed or bagged-fed. The food is grown from the waste and manure from the animals on the property. The cycle is sustainable, it's beautiful, and it is exactly like God intended. We can heal our soil. We can clean our water, and we can purify our bodies. But it will take effort, and it will have to come from unlearning the incorrect way of doing it and learning the correct way. For you guys that don't understand this, do y'all know that America did not till the soil until 80 years ago? There were no tractors ripping soil, rolling soil 2 foot down. None of that began until 80 years ago. Prior to that, it was sowing the land, not destroying the land. It's two different things. This book covers all of that in 88 pages. And I have to give it to Leslie. I've got the knowledge here, but putting it on paper, if you guys could have seen what I sent her, I'm like, here's the book, Leslie. And Leslie's like, okay, we can do this, Samantha. And that precious woman took all these facts that I have in my head and she put it in a way that made it people want to read it. So I hope and pray that you guys understand what I'm trying to tell you. Almost everything wrong with us psychologically, emotionally, and physically and physiologically. It's coming from the toxins that are just being poured on top of us in every which way. Yeah, fluoride blocks the pineal gland. It does. It does. It's why I have well water and why I will fight to keep my well water. Absolutely. And I'm going to tell you all the truth. When I moved, it's been 6 years I've been here. 6 years ago, I came off city water and moved to well water. I got saved and delivered. I got off drugs. I started feeling better. My body began to heal and I began to see things more clearly. So please understand, these chemicals in these city water, they're very bad for you. Yeah, definitely keep your wells. I'm being really serious. Well water it's irreplaceable. Nope, sorry. I'm good. SoCo 1066. I don't mess with all that. I'm good. But I wanted to share all this with you guys because I'm seeing this. It's like, have y'all noticed how many cases are in the news right now of white people being attacked in America? So there's a case going on right now where this group of football players went off to this Presbyterian college, and these black boys attacked this white football player. Like, they almost beat him bad, like really bad. Then you got the Chicago incident where the white woman and the white guy were beaten by a mob of black people. Then you see what we had just happen yesterday where the black guy comes onto the military base, the sergeant, and shoots all white people. Now, you can claim that that's got nothing to do with it, but I do believe that when people are drinking these toxic waters, they have toxins dropped on them. And then you've got mainstream media with Project Mockingbird consistently telling you that you're a victim, that everybody hates you, everybody owes you something, that it gives these people an out to do these horrific things. That's why I speak out about this crazy, let's all get together and hate Jewish people in Israel. I'm not being part of that because I see it happening with black people doing it to white people right now. I see the world doing it to Jewish people. I see people overseas being killed by the hundreds of thousands that are Christians in Muslim countries solely because of mob hate. Anytime that people start doing mob hate, I want nothing to do with it because that's not God in any way, shape, or form. So you're just seeing a lot of black people, which is only 13% of our population, attacking white people almost always with no real excuse to do it. They're just doing it. Groups of them. Hey, let's get together and go attack a white person today. Could you imagine if this was white people doing this to black people? Seriously? I think we need to call it out. We need to stop it. Because I do believe this is how they're trying to spark a civil war. I tell you that, guys, all the time. They're trying everything they can. Religion, money, color of your skin, everything to split people into two factions, cause chaos, cause fighting, so then they can come in and remove our freedoms. It's crazy. It's absolutely insanity. And I just don't understand how people can continue to fall for this. There is no excuse if you're an adult or a teenager. Listen to me now. If you think you need 4 or 5 people to fight with you to teach somebody a lesson, you're a coward. I grew up in the 70s and 80s. I got suspended from school multiple times for throwing these hands. And the one time I got in a fight with a black person, I ended up getting jumped from behind by another black person. Like, what's the mindset of that? You can't just let somebody fight it out? I'm just saying. I'm only asking. I ended up being friends with both of them. I did. I mean, because back then we fought it out and then we put our differences aside. You can't do that anymore. I think right now we have a real problem in this country. And I am always going to believe a little bit in my heart that the toxins in the clot shot and as well as what's being dumped on us is exasperating it. It's making people act even crazier. So you think about what I said at the beginning of the Zoom. I mean, of the live. You've got animals falling sick everywhere and nobody knows what's going on. People's beloved pets are dying left and right. Youngish, middle-aged men with these brain aneurysms, heart aneurysms, aortic aneurysms, strokes. This should not be happening. Now you've got Black people who have historically been exposed to more toxins than other people. That is fact. If you go look at where Black people group up, look at how many times they found lead in the water, right? How close they are to chemical plants. So I'm just wondering if all of that is adding to the craziness of their behavior. Yep, it's partially culture. I'm not stupid. I live in a Black community. I see it every day. This worship of rap music and guns and, they got gold teeth and the wheels on their car cost $3,000, but their kids are dirty and they live in a fallen down house. Like the concepts don't, where'd you get the money for the gold teeth and the wheels on your car, but you can't put your kids in a decent bed? You can't buy sheets? Like it's weird. So I know that there's a lot of different things contributing, but I will always believe in my heart that the poisons in the sky that are now in the soil, that are now absorbed by our bodies, they're everywhere, are actually, oh, I'm so sorry, Miss Annette. It's actually exasperating the problem. Oh, I totally agree. Always crazy. Hawaii said beef or fish. Pretty much everything's being contaminated. You're correct. And when you purchase animals like fish, right? Even alligator, and those are being farm raised, those are not animals or livestock, right? Those are wild. Fish are wild. Crawfish, wild. Alligators, wild. Deer, wild. The reason their meat is so good for you, or it was because of what they did. They rummaged, they walked miles, they ate what was on the ground, they ate what they needed. That's being quickly changed to everything being consolidated behind fences and being given, pelleted feeds, even fish. They're feeding them pellets rather than letting fish eat what fish normally eat. So the fish you're buying in the store, when it says farm raised, it does not have the nutrients of what wild, fresh caught fish have. So it's so weird for me to go into a store and see a box that says farm raised alligator. Like, what is that? Like, I want swamp alligator. I want an alligator that's been eating the nasty stuff that alligators eat, because that's what makes alligator so good for you. So I just wanted to share that, guys, we're still raising money for Hammer's MRI. I'm fixing to call the veterinarian right now and see how much it's actually going to cost and try to get that scheduled. If you'd like to donate even $1 for that, please look in the top of comments when this is over. Make sure to add your email in the memo. You'll get our monthly newsletter and you'll be invited to the Zooms. Just so much going on in the world, and the poison's really bad, but please don't lose hope. There are solutions. There are ways that you can grow food that will stop toxins from getting to your soil and remove toxins once they're in the soil. There are bioremediation from plants. There's work that you can do using earthworms. And I even show you in the book, Growing Under a Poison Sky, all the solutions. But the one thing I want you guys to remember is that in the Bible, I like to look at it as an agricultural book. Like the God that created the heavens and the earth, that created you and I, also knew that we would one day get to this point. So there's so many little like Bible verses that actually show you how to use what God has given you to grow your food. We add those into the book. Why? Because we want you to have the hope that comes, the faith that comes from hearing and hearing the word of God. So I've got to run, guys. My husband will be home in an hour or so for lunch. I need to call the veterinarian for Hammer. I've got to go by the bank and the pharmacy. So much to do. Just know that I love you guys so much. Please like, comment, subscribe. Stay safe out there, folks.